This is Anime Ricochet. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff, and with me, as always, is a man who has no legs. His name is Jacoby, aka Coby. Welcome to the show, Coby.
That's just the first bald-faced lie you've ever told before about this. I don't even know how to respond to that. I can't angrily say, I so do have legs, because that's just a weird response.
It's not my first bold-faced lie, and it's also not a bold-faced lie.
I have legs. Not saying, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure you do. This is Anime Ricochet, the podcast where two dudes who know nothing about sports talk about sports anime. And we have a special guest with us today. His name is Jake, over from Anime Dumpster Dive. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Thanks, glad to be here.
So the anime we're going to be talking about this month is called Run with the Wind. It's about a college track and field team of mostly novice runners that want to run in the Hakone Ekiden, which is a 10-man relay race around a mountain in Japan. And so since it's about running, I figured we'd start with, let's start with Coby. Coby, do you run?
That's a big pass on that one.
Okay.
Negative.
Jake, do you run?
I ran a lot in high school, a lot of long distance, and a little in college. But since then, I haven't really ran. But I think that's going to change after watching this anime.
I know. I totally know.
I actually ran in middle school and high school as well. I ran track in cross country, so I did some long distance also. I was not very good at it at all. So, but Jake, I'm curious, what is your mile time? What was your fastest mile?
My fastest mile was 5 minutes 14 seconds.
Yeah. See,
what?
That's like pretty good. I'm fucking slow. So you want to know my fastest mile time? It was like I think it was like 6:40 or something, 6:30. I don't know, but I was not good.
That's still pretty good. My last mile time I recorded like when they had high school. I got like a 12 something.
I thought you were gonna do the Zet Brannigan joke. I plan on finishing someday.
But
just pretend I said that.
So yeah, Run with the Wind. I figured I'd give some background information on it. It came out this year. It started airing in October of last year, and it finished airing very recently, last month. The source is interesting. It's from a novel which was written in 2006, so it's not from a manga like most sports anime or anime in general are, which I found interesting.
How do you write a book about running? Like, that just doesn't seem very interesting.
I mean, this anime is pretty interesting.
The anime is interesting, but sure, but I just don't know how is that book unfold? Like, where's the book published? Is it a Japanese book, or was it adapted?
It's a Japanese book. And the studio that produced it is Production IG, and if you don't already know, they are the heavy hitters. I'll just list off some shows: Attack on Titan, Psycho Pass, Haikyuu, Kuroko no Basket, Fully Cooley. What else did they do? I think they did Welcome to the Ballroom. They also did.
Nice.
They did the original Ghost in the Shell movie. So yeah, these guys have done.
That's quite the resume.
Yes, these are some heavy. This is a heavy-hitting anime production studio. So yeah, with that out of the way, what did you guys think of the show?
It grew on me, I would say, definitely, for sure. Like, I think it started off as a little slow in terms of, because it has like an interesting introduction in ways of introduce all 10 main characters all at once and then flesh them out as time goes on. And that's like a risky thing, I think, to do. So it took a while to kind of really become familiar with everybody. But once it did, and once it started clicking, I really got into it and enjoyed it from mostly start to finish.
Just like some quick thoughts I've had while watching it. Episode 1, I went, oh man, this is a shame. Like, I thought this was supposed to be a great anime. Then episode 20, I'm fighting back tears.
Yeah. It's. Oh, go ahead, Coby.
It's a nice slow build. Sorry, it's a nice slow build. That's all.
Yeah. I'm gonna say. Yeah, I don't think I got invested in this show until about episode 8 or 9. So, like, if you're the type to give shows like the 3 or 4 episode test or whatever, then you're probably going to drop this one in that case. But I would say it's worth sticking around for. It's like, it takes a while to hit its stride, to use a running term.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's got a slow build up, and I guess one of the things I was concerned about this show was like you said, Kobe introduces the cast like all in the first episode, the whole 10-man team. And when they first introduce them, they all have like a quirk, like, oh, there's a trivia guy, there's a smoker guy, there's a guy who reads manga all day.
There's twins.
And I was concerned that like, oh man, so this is our cast, huh? Like they're just gonna be focusing on like this is their thing. Like the lawyer's always gonna argue, and like the smoker is gonna be smoking all the time. And so I was worried that it would they would keep these characters at a very shallow level, like we'd only know them for the quirks. But I was very pleased to discover that they actually give every single character like their time in the sun. Like they each have layers to them. They each get time to develop, and doing that with like a big cast of characters, with 10 characters, I think is it's very commendable. And you end up loving each and every one of them. I did. I liked all these characters, and I remembered all their names.
A single character.
I remembered all their names, and that is a compliment for sure.
I think I could name all 10 too, which is and Jake, for me that I'm just horrible with names.
Oh yeah, then do it then, Coby.
Okay, there is Haiji, Shindo, Prince, King, Nico, Musa, Jota and Joji. Who am I missing? There is the lawyer's name is
Starts with a Y.
Is it Yuki? Yeah, it's Yuki. And then and our main guy, Karuhi.
Yeah, Karuhi.
Wait, what's his name?
Kakeru.
Kakeru. All right, so I got everyone except the main guy.
And to be fair, I feel like the main guy, for me at least, he was kind of
I don't think he's the main guy.
Yeah?
You think it's Haiji?
I think it's Haiji.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like if you go through, especially the last arc, like the last 3 episodes, every character is having that internal monologue about interactions that they've had with Haiji. And so it's like, and even like the end of the anime kind of has this line where it's like the focus is Haiji. And so I think he's the main character. He's like the driving force of the show.
You know what? I think that actually makes a ton of sense, because he's just, yeah, you're right, driving force of the show. He's a great emotional crux throughout it all. The kind of main dude,
Kakeru.
Kakeru.
Yeah, it's a terrible name.
Kakeru.
Let's just admit that.
Kakeru. I guess I really didn't get his character very much. His arc throughout it all, like it took a while for him to kind of click with me. But Haiji throughout it all just remains consistently great. Like he grows into just an awesome presence. So yeah, I think you're right, Jake. I think Haiji is the main character.
Okay, so here's my problem with Haiji. Okay, so like I said before, I love all these characters. By the end of them, I could remember all their names. But the way that Haiji formed the team, I thought was kind of unethical.
It's completely underhanded.
Yeah, did anyone else
I knew you were going to say that too. I knew Jeffy's like, because you have a problem in Chihara Faru, you had such a problem with her dragging Descamudo from his desk to force him to play. So when I'm watching this, I was just like, he's going to be mad that he basically tricked everyone and blackmailed them.
Yeah, this is worse than what that terrible human being Chihaya did. Like, yeah, so basically everyone's staying in like this dorm room, or this dormitory, and it's like super cheap and everyone loves living there. And then he's all like, psych, you're all part of the track and field team, says so in this contract. And if you don't like it, you can move. And so he basically manipulates everyone into joining this team, which it creates kind of like a really shaky foundation, in my opinion. Like it kind of puts a stain on the show. Like I think, oh, this is such a great team. I love all these characters, but they were kind of forced into this team. It just kind of hovers in the back of my
head. The show acknowledges
it.
It's not like they just like he goes, you guys have to run, and they go, okay. They go. A lot of them fight it at first, and then they start to enjoy it.
And if you frame it as Haiji saw their true potential to be runners, then I think it's okay.
Well, he does say that, except for Prince. He says that he had this idea for everybody, and then Prince goes like, "Wait a minute, what about me? Like you haven't mentioned my potential yet."
That is true.
I don't know. You could argue that he would have taken any 10 people, like, because he was desperate. Like, well, this might be delving into spoiler territory a bit, but let's just say that I kind of had a problem with how the team formed. It was a very unusual and unique way for the team to form, and in a lot of ways, this anime, the sports anime in particular, is unique, and this is one of them. I don't know, but yeah, I don't like the way he formed the team, but I'm guessing you guys didn't have a problem with it.
Well, I mean,
I didn't have a huge problem.
yeah, I thought it was just a funny way, and it kind of explained why these characters who didn't want to run were going to run.
Yeah, so
like instead of him just being like, oh, I guess to compare it to like Chihaya Furu, they needed a certain amount of kids, and then Chihaya just goes around and finds people. Like, I think that would have just been kind of lazy in this one. So I thought it was cool that it wasn't like a find people who don't want to run and force them into a club, but like they're already living here and they've unknowingly have already been part of this club for years.
For years, like, why do you think I cook all your meals for you and let you live here? It's like, oh, but I like finding. I liked it for most of the characters because it's them finding the motivation, I guess, to run was really interesting. Like King, using it for job experience, or Nico kind of wanting to just to kind of relive his past days just like a little bit. So I thought that was a cool element for like a lot of the characters kind of finding motivation to run, and those early episodes of how each one was convinced I thought was neat.
yeah, so let me put on my my anime writer glasses for a minute here, and let me tell you how I would have done things, and you guys let me know how you like my idea. Okay,
all right, paint this picture.
So I have a problem, like I said, with how the team was formed, right? But like, let's just change one thing. Like, what if everyone agreed to joining this team before Kakeru joins? Because Haiji decides to form the team when the 10th man joins, which is the main character, Kakeru. And then he springs it on everyone like, oh, by the way, you're a part of this team. What if every single person knew what they were going into, but they kind of like figured it would never happen because like the dormitory is kind of like run down, and like there's like no real track and field team at the school. So everyone kind of joins like, yeah, whatever, it's a cheap dorm. I don't really think it's going to happen. Or maybe some of them like are on board with the idea, but like most of them, let's say, are kind of, doing it just to get into this cheap dorm or something like that. And then when Kakeru joins and the 10th man does join, Heidi's like, all right, we got a team. That's when the resistance comes in. Once everyone realizes, oh shit, it's a possibility now it's going to happen, then it's more about them having to live up to their word as joining the team in the beginning, as opposed to Kakeru just kind of, underhandedly getting them all on the same boat. So it's like, if you just change that one little thing and everything else stays the same, I still think it would be a good way to explain why people who never run before would just join a track and field team. You see what I mean?
Jeff, did you really like Prince of Stride?
No.
Well, that's the plot of Prince of Stride.
Well,
they get the two new members that allow them to have their Stride team, and then there's like two characters who are like, oh, we joined because we were going to make this also the
Shogi club or whatever.
The Shogi club.
Okay,
so,
well, I guess Princess Stride incepted the idea into me, but it's not an entirely bad idea. I don't think I didn't dislike Princess Stride because of that. So I don't know. I still think it would have been a better way to do it.
I think that ruins a lot of. I think a lot of the joy of it was them all finding out together, and then each one having a different reaction time to sort of process the information and come on board, because they all kind of learned at different times. I think if you have them all kind of at least be aware of the situation earlier, that ruins a part of the what's the word, the understanding part of their brains that make them go through this process. I like them doing it all at once and then having different time and reactions throughout this first 6 or 7 episodes or so. And I think telling them beforehand kind of negates that.
I don't know. I still think the rest of the show could have developed the same. I don't know what would have exactly changed if they already knew Like if they joined the team and they didn't actually expect it to happen, and then they were suddenly told it was happening, wouldn't that be? I mean, it's not exactly 1-to-1, but like it's
you can't. They can't sit there and say, "Oh, I didn't sign up for this," because then at that point they literally signed up for it.
Yeah, and that's
it ruins their kind of underdog kind of status in terms of, man, this is a team who's never run before, and they're training together to become champions under the tutelage of one really obsessed, really focused individual. Like by having them at least join in some way, in some part way, at least volunteer, it's like, I'll join the track team. That it ruins that kind of joyous moment of all these 10 people are coming together with no prior knowledge whatsoever to work together, to train together, to run the Hakone Eden.
I don't know. I still think it would have not much would have changed in my opinion. But
okay.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree on this point. But I guess on that note, well, who did you guys like? What's your favorite character? Who's your favorite character from this cast?
I'd say my favorite character is Haiji, but the character.
Yeah, let's not count the two main ones.
Okay, I was gonna say, but the character I related to the most is Nico.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Okay,
tell us about it.
And that's just being a guy who got out of shape and kind of just was going through the motions, and then he gets this whole idea, and then he takes it in stride. He's like, you know what? I really loved running. I really loved that part of my life. And now I get another chance to do that. And for me, I related to that a lot because after high school, I put on a ton of weight, and I just stopped running and working out in general. And then I kind of just was not feeling great about myself. And then I just started running again, started working out, and I felt great. And so I just felt like I connected with Nico so much, and I thought it was beautifully done. Because I had his mindset, and just seeing that on screen was so cool to see.
Yeah, Nico was great. He was kind of like the dad of the team. Haiji was definitely, more of the technical coach and stuff, but I felt like Nico was the guy giving more life advice kind of,
And like an adult.
Yeah.
He would he was very much out of the drama and knew how to react to stuff, and even kind of predicted future stuff. With Kakeru always mouthing off, he goes, if you ever learn to just take a minute to think about what he said before he said it, we'd have a lot less drama.
Yeah, he's the senpai.
Yeah.
He kind of
and how much older was he? Was he was 4 years older, right?
He's I think he's a year older than Haiji, and so that makes him a 5th year college student.
Okay,
super senior. Does anyone else think that he looks like Asahi from Haikyuu, like an older Asahi? Maybe Asahi's older brother.
Jake hasn't watched Haikyuu yet.
Not watched Haikyuu.
All right, Coby, what about you?
I definitely think that character design's so similar.
Yeah, there's some other character designs in this show that look like they borrowed them from Haikyuu, and maybe
it's the same, right? Or it's the same kind of team,
yeah, it's the same studio. Like I said before, Production IG, they did Haikyuu as well.
In terms of, I guess, my favorite characters, I think I'm torn between two. I think at first I really liked, I liked Shindo a lot. He grew to be kind of, I liked his role as just the man behind the team in terms of always making sure that they have what they needed besides Haiji, signing up for meets and making sure they all have in the website and everything. And I really liked his story of how he just doesn't have time for a lot of things because he does so many things, and his unnamed girlfriend, who I think he broke up with. And I think you guys, I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I think the show is trying to tell us that Shindo's gay. And that's how I read the scenes with him, and especially with him and Musa. That's how I interpreted his scenes. But I really like Shindo's role and everything. And then, but near the end, I really started to pull for King. After a ton of the time of King not being very well developed, in my opinion, into what he wants, and kind of being excluded a lot from the group. I thought that was poor writing. I'm like, oh, you're just leaving out King. But for his exclusion to play into his character at the end, I thought really just brought his whole arc into better focus. So I'm torn between Shindo and King.
Yeah. Did you have any characters that you related to the most?
Probably in terms of at the beginning, it was King of just like of being so worried about trying to find like a job and about your future and like what you're going to do next. In terms of that, so I related to probably King at the beginning the most.
Really, King? Just King?
He's totally
yes,
dissing you, bro.
Jake. Who else could I relate to? Why don't you say it, Jake?
Prince.
God damn it, yeah. Yeah, fine. I related to Prince too. You bastard. I feel like I would be exactly Prince in this situation. In terms of if I'm forced to run, I'm not going to look like a demon when I run, at least.
Like you're being possessed.
Yeah, like I'm being possessed. But my mile time is definitely going to be slow. Yeah. So there you go. You happy now?
I am.
So do you think Shindo and Musa are gay, or just Shindo?
I'm gonna say they're both gay.
Are they gay for each other?
Yes.
I thought the Shindo interaction with his girlfriend was just implying that he started to care more about the club than anything else.
Yeah.
I think it's a metaphor for how he's just, because when she says, I think you're focused on something else, because I think he's gay for Musa, because he wants to go with Musa to the mountains and make snow angels.
That's true. I totally forgot about that. They wanted to. Yeah, that's totally like code word for gay sex, right?
And no, you're ruining my beautiful metaphor here.
No, it's a beautiful metaphor. I agree.
You're on my side, but you're just making it.
It's a very beautiful metaphor. And you know what, Coby? Your interpretation, I think I'm on board.
Okay. Jeff, who do you relate to?
Well, first of all, I actually like Prince. I do think he is my favorite character because I think he is what got me into the show. Because, like I said, it wasn't until episode 8 or 9 when I got into it, and it was specifically because of the episodes involving him and Kakeru when they started to develop that bond, which was really cool. But in terms of the character that I related to the most, I also related to King the most, particularly towards the end, just like you, when he was kind of talking about like, oh yeah, like I thought all this cool stuff was gonna happen in college, but nothing really happened. And then he was like looking. It seemed like he was looking for like a friend or something. It was kind of bittersweet. But then he was like, yeah. And then I found this team, and it's good to be a part of something that expects something of you. And I don't know why. That just like really hit me. It's like, you know what? Yeah. It made me wish I was in a track and field team in college too. Like if there was an opportunity like that, and if I had seen this anime and I was in college, I would sign up for a track and field team.
I would have started.
Like, yep, I'm in.
I would have at least started running more.
Yeah. Yeah, there was in high school, I actually was in track for like almost a year. I didn't even do it for that whole year. True story. My friend was like really fast actually. He was like a sprinter, and he was actually a really good sprinter. But I don't know why, but me and him ditched practice. And then we decided to quit based off of a coin flip. And thus we never went back to track and field practice.
Well, I mean, that's all life's biggest decisions should be made via coin flip.
Yes. And
is that another Futurama reference?
I don't know.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah. I don't know why I shared that story, but basically, I wish I was in a track and field team.
Because it's a safe spot. Because we're three dudes who are going to form our own track and field team.
Not gonna lie, I thought about it. I was like, maybe like there's a road race that us three could do somewhere.
Dude, I'm down. Coby, you're down, right?
Are you Haiji? Yeah, I'm down.
I don't know. I don't want to be Haiji. Jake could be. Jake, do you want to be Haiji?
I guess I have to ride a bike.
Why want to be Haiji?
Just got to learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Do you not know how to ride a bike?
No, I know how to ride a bike. It was just a joke.
Oh. Just making sure. I mean, I can teach you how to ride a bike. It's okay. It's a safe spot. We're in a track and field team.
Yeah. So Jake, you're a runner. I'm kind of a runner. Coby, you're not a runner at all, like whatsoever. You have no legs. Let's talk about the running in this anime and how it's represented.
I
Go ahead, Jake.
I
Take the
was
lead.
just gonna say I was absolutely furious for a while
Oh shit.
that no one was correcting Prince's form.
I know, right? I'm like, these are all horrible teammates.
I'm like,
I'm not even a runner. I'm like, I know that's wrong.
I'm like, why is no one correcting him on this? And then they do, and they correct his form, and he gets a lot better. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And they even acknowledge a part where, because it's long distance, you don't need to use your arm motions as much as in short distance, and so he actually keeps his arms lower, which is a long distance form, and so I really like that. And I really, I'd say my biggest gripe overall with the running was no one corrects King's form
Yeah.
until the final episode, until like the final episodes, where he's running and the coach just goes, "Stand up straight. It's easier to breathe." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Because nobody cares about King.
I'm like, no one cared.
That's a good point.
But every race and stuff, and they bring up little running tidbits. I found myself just going, "Hey, I know that." Like, yeah, that's really cool.
What are some running tidbits you can share with us?
They bring up in the final race that Prince is actually using a windbreaker, and that's a good technique for people who aren't great runners, and that's to have somebody run in front of you who kind of just makes the wind resistance easier. And then another one, I think it was the first track meet that they do, they mention that one of the runners out there is actually being a pacemaker, where he makes the pace so fast that it kind of disheartens the newer runners or the less experienced racers. So they try to pick up that pace, and then they realize that they're moving too fast, and it throws them off, and then they exert too much energy. And so I thought that was cool. And then there was there was another one, I can't remember what it was, but it just, like I said, every time that they brought up a racing technique, I was just like, yeah, this is really cool. I think it was the first meet again where when they're running and they go off the start, all of them have never raced before, so they're just getting bullied by the pack.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true. What happens in like those races is that people are going to shove you out of the way to get better running position.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they give signals? Do your teammates give signals to one another like they did? That's what I was curious about.
I haven't done a long distance relay thing like this before. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of did, but not like with a professional team like it is in the anime. But every like high school relay I did or high school meet I went to, our coach was just on the side and he'd just yell stuff. Like, we never gave signals because we always had that extra person to just say stuff. Like, they don't have like a coach or a traveling manager with them, so they have to communicate with each other.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you think about other than Prince and King's terrible running forms? What did you think about their running forms overall? Like, what I found interesting was it seemed like each of them were animated slightly differently. Like, they each kind of ran in a slightly different way. But were those like, I don't know, like legitimate running forms? Like, I know that sounds so broad, but like, did you find that the way they run looked efficient?
Like, yeah, I thought all of them ran really well, except for one of the twins. But they bring that up later. Like, Joji goes like, "Hey, watch my form. Like, what am I doing different than Kakeru?" And just like that is really cool because it's kind of like Kakeru's a little ahead, so you can see him, and you see Kakeru's running straight up. His head's not bobbing. His arms are out his side. And the twin, his head's bobbing and his arms are crossing his chest. And that's a big no-no in running, is because you're not giving your lungs the full capacity like they can take in, because you're crossing your chest, you're making your chest smaller. And so
that's good to know for when I start running.
Take notes.
And so I was like, wow, like that's really cool. It's really subtle. And like you see Kakeru and Haiji especially, and even Musa towards the end, have really great running form where they're always just standing up straight and they're never crossing their body and their head's never bobbing. And then like you'll see it in that last race especially, is that when they first start out, everyone has really good running form, but as they're finishing and they're getting tired, their bodies are getting more lax and stuff. So it's really cool. Like, watching this the entire time, I'm sitting there just smiling and just going like, I want to run again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
So the Hakone Ekiden is actually like a real life relay as well, which I think is always cool when they kind of integrate real life Japanese things into anime. And I like how they show like all the little logistics of it too. Like you have like motorcycles and like cars driving behind the runners, and everyone's like lined up along the side. They've got like all the like the graphics on screen. It's like what everyone's time is and all that, which I thought was also very cool.
That was pretty neat.
Very neat.
And they each for the Hakone Eden, they each ran 20 kilometers, right? Is that what it was, or 20?
I thought it was 10.
More?
Was it? Was it 10?
It was 20 kilometers.
20 kilometers, which is, I think it's like 12.6 miles or so.
5K is 3.1.
Hold on, let me Google.
So 10K is 6.2. It's 12.4.
12.4 miles.
Yeah, it's 12.4 miles. They're at 3 minute per 3 kilometer pace, which is fast. Like King's form is terrible and he looks really slow, but that's just because everyone else is running really fast. But King is faster than I ever was in high school.
That's insane. Do you think it's possible to actually train someone to get to that level? Because like, how long did they train for?
They had like close to like it seemed like at least like 8 or 9 months.
Yeah,
like.
They had
several.
They had like 8 months to get everyone to
qualify.
A qualifying time of 16.30 or like 16:30 for a 5K, and I think that's 100% possible, especially if you're controlling diet as well as controlling workout. Like, I don't know how all these kids passed their college classes with the fact that they were always running.
Yeah, like that's one of the things that I thought was pretty hardcore was like they would run in the morning, and that was like their warm up, but it was still like what I assumed to be a tough run, and then their actual practice was in the evening, so it was like a twice a day thing. And I mean I'm of course inexperienced, even though I ran a little bit back at school, but like is that not overtraining in a way?
It seems like a lot.
Well, he actually warns of overtraining, which I thought was going to become a bigger deal when they started running at night by themselves. But it depends on how hard you do those workouts. Like the workout in the morning was a kind of just it didn't seem like it was that important of a timed run. Like it was just like kind of just run to this location and run back. And
how much did they? It was 5K.
It was 5K.
It was
5K. It was a 3 mile run every morning.
There and back, right? They had to run.
Yeah, so it was 6 mile, like there and back. Count it like there and back. It's a total of 6 miles. But again, it didn't look like anyone was like really racing because they'd get there and it's kind of just like a steady pace.
Basically, get there and wait for Prince.
Yeah. And the practice at like noon looked like more of a intense practice where they had them doing like timed 5Ks as well as like different workouts. And then it looked like nighttime they were doing like cool down runs, which again shouldn't hurt you. And like I think that's why Haiji was so okay with everyone doing the nighttime runs, because he'd always say like don't work too hard. So, and I'm also a little surprised there wasn't like a little arc of somebody who's overtraining. I guess we kind of get that with Nico when he like stops eating.
Yeah, to try to cut weight.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't think it's overtraining at all. It's very similar to some of the stuff that I did in high school.
Wow, and that's a completely new group of runners, including Prince, and they all are able to qualify for this thing within 8 months, which and it's completely possible apparently.
I think so, just because like one of the hardest parts of getting people in shape is not controlling their diet. And
that's
so
true.
if you're controlling someone's diet and like
and you know your ins and outs of it, then it's completely doable.
Yeah. So I think again, I like don't quote me on this. Like I don't think if like who's a person who's never run before, like that distance, like, sorry, Coby, I'm gonna use you in this example.
It's fine.
If I told Coby like to do workouts and eat this food, like, will he be able to run like 5K in 16 minutes? I'm not sure, because Coby could eat other things outside of the food I told him, or Coby could miss a workout.
Eat perfectly.
No, I'm just saying as an example. Like, they lived with Haiji. Like, Haiji would be like, eat this, like, do this. Like, he controlled pretty much every aspect of their life.
Yeah. Side note, that must have been a fun dorm to live in. You know, free food, good food.
Yeah, you have all your meals cooked for you like that.
All your homies there. Read manga.
Like, if I lived,
except the place is falling apart.
Yeah.
Like, I would hate to live under Prince.
in his treadmill.
Prince move rooms. Like, that's rude to have that above.
That's like asbestos.
Kakeru.
I'm surprised he didn't trade rooms. Like, have him move downstairs as soon as he had a treadmill.
But his manga collection, yo. You'd have to move that shit.
Which is weak. Which I thought that was the weak. It was the 1 week, I think, stipulation. So it's like, well, if you move, you're gonna have to pay so much money to transport all your manga. I was like, well, that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, like, I feel like if you really wanted to move out, you could.
Oh, speaking of his manga, I have a question for you guys, because you guys have been like clearly watching a ton of sports anime. At one point, Prince is like, I don't want you to like apologize to me, and then he just starts naming off protagonists from sports animes. The only one I recognized was Ippo. Yeah, but did you guys recognize like those silhouettes and the names?
Yeah, he definitely he definitely said Hinata, and you could see his silhouette in there from Haikyuu. And then there's still so much sports.
That's the only one I
There's still so
recognize.
much sports anime to watch, but like I do recognize some of the silhouettes. Like I think one of them is from iShield 21, because one of them kind of looked like a football player.
Was there one from Baby Steps? Because there was a guy with a tennis racket.
Oh, I went by so fast. I didn't notice that. I don't remember the tennis.
I would have noticed it if it was Baby Steps, but it was probably Prince of Tennis. That's probably
Prince of Tennis is also.
Yeah, I think that would be the most well-known tennis sports anime. So it'd probably be a reference to sports anime. But yeah, no, I think those are all legitimate references to sports anime of the past, which, yeah, I thought it was cool. A cool little callback there.
Cool little callback.
So do you guys want to run after watching this?
Yeah, like I do, but I also don't. It's like so tough. Like it's like, man, one of these days once I get on a more set schedule, it sucks. I'm leaving for a work trip for like 2 weeks at a time, so I don't want to start and then stop. But I do want to get on a schedule of like, oh, let's get up and run in the morning, Coby, you fat piece of shit. Like,
you're not fat though, which always makes me so
I look
mad.
like Prince. I look like Prince.
You do.
Like, yeah. So it's like that's my thing. So I want to, but and I plan to one day. Maybe you guys will motivate me.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Well, Jake, you're already doing it, aren't you?
I do a mile run every day when I go to the gym, but
what?
I think after watching this, because I want to go back into long distance stuff, I've already looked up like locations that are 3 miles away from my apartment, and I'm actually planning on running to one tomorrow morning.
Oh, damn. So you're still already running a mile every day? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's okay. I've started running too, but I've been running a mile every day. I did it like last week. I'm not very good this week though, but I'm up there. I'm getting there. I don't know if I'm kind of thinking of running maybe like a half marathon or something like that, but I don't know. Yeah, let's start a team and do like a road race or something, a relay.
Yeah, like most of them are 5K, so it's very like.
It's 3 miles. I probably could get down to 3 miles. What's my mile time right now? It's about like 13 minutes.
That would put you at where Prince started. He was at like 36 minutes.
For 3 miles? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Kobe's like, why'd I agree to this? Why'd I watch this show?
Why'd I watch this one? Why couldn't we watch something else? Why couldn't we watch Kuroko no Basuke Season 3?
So that way you'd be like, I hate basketball now. Like, I hate basketball now.
That'd make you want to play basketball. We'd be talking about joining a basketball team, starting a basketball team.
That would be cool. I'd join a basketball team.
You're a giant.
You actually played basketball too, didn't you?
I'm your height, Jake.
Yeah,
I played a little bit of basketball. I'm not giant. You're making me seem like a no-legged, like
You're a 6'3" torso. We all know it.
Yeah. Well, the way you walk around is with your hands. You have these freakishly long arms. You walk around like a gorilla with no legs.
All right, let's talk about the animation of the show. Oh wait, actually, I first want to talk about the soundtrack. I did not like the soundtrack very much, but like the end credits I liked. The one that started off with a song, I thought that was cool. I thought the actual soundtrack in the show, I forgot how it goes, but like whatever, like it is like passing time, that they played a whole lot. I did not like it.
I'm like the complete opposite of you because I think the OPs are okay. Like I would have skipped them if I wasn't so lazy. Like
I skipped them a few times. I mean, and I like the first one better than the
same
second.
here.
What? Second one is fire.
I like the first one more too. I'm on your side, Coby. Don't worry.
But the end. What was the one that ended with like it's like the Starry Night Sky?
I
think it was the ending of the first one.
I thought that was the second one.
I think it's the second one as well.
Well, anyway, that one I really
I like that one too. But I also just like the rest of the soundtrack. It was kind of it wasn't like pump up music, but I thought that was appropriate. It was more kind of like chill, toned down music, but it was still able to kind of bring some drama to the scene, if that makes any sense. And I like the reason I say it's appropriate is because this show is very introspective. It's not so much about like the super hype moments. Like we always bring up Haikyuu, but of course we love that show. But anyways, it's like in Haikyuu, it's like and the dude spikes the ball and gets the point, and there's a lot of build up and excitement in that show. Whereas this one is more like what do you want in life? What does running mean to you? What do you want to do? You know, and it's all
How can this help you become a better person and realize the person you want to be?
And so that's why I think this sort of toned down soundtrack fits the show, and I also think it was fairly catchy.
I forgot how the tune goes that plays through like a lot of like just the normal episodes, but I forgot how it goes. I just remember I didn't like it very much. Jake, did you?
I was gonna say I think I got so lost in the sound design that I really wasn't paying attention too much to the soundtrack. Like just hearing the footsteps and like hearing the breathing of like the characters.
Breathing, yeah.
I thought I was just so absorbed into the show. I just was not hearing like the music.
The wind.
Because I cannot for the life of me think of a song outside of the openings and the endings.
To be fair, I can only think of one off the top of my head. But if I heard the rest of them, I could tell you that I like them.
I probably could hear that it'd be like, oh yeah, that's from Run with the Wind, but I just can't think of them right now.
I guess one thing we haven't mentioned at all, which I think is makes this sports anime stand out from other sports anime, is that it's set in college. And usually, anime in general is not set in college, it's set in high school, right? So the fact that it's set in college, I thought was really cool because it kind of opened up these storylines that aren't possible in high school. Like, for example, like King looking for a job, and also introduces
Nico being really old.
Nico being old and a smoker, and like it introduces types of characters like Yuki, who's an accomplished student. He already passed his bar on his first try. So yeah, I thought that was really cool.
It opened up a lot of avenues for storytelling that I guess we're not used to. Because usually everyone in this stage in the sports anime would be like, I can't focus on the sport because I got to focus on college exams. Like that's like a running theme in like so many of our sports animes. So it was nice to see kind of a different flavor in terms of how they presented their sport.
Yeah.
Well, it also was like a legit, this is my last chance to do this, like for Haiji. Because a lot of the times I find with like anime that take place in high school where they're like, this is the last chance for us to do this. I'm like, you have college. You are 17. You have plenty of life left to do things. But here it's like, well, this race is like the last like race I can compete in outside of like Olympic trials. And you're like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. This is legitimately a last chance thing.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing, there's just a bunch of side things I forgot to mention earlier. Did you guys like Hana-chan?
I didn't hate her. Like, I mean, like that makes it sound like I didn't like her, but like I just don't think she added much to the story other than just like the first person who believed in them.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting I guess route. Well, I guess we can talk about it in spoiler section, but it was an interesting route to take with her character. There was definitely because I thought she was just going to be set up as the main love interest for Kakeru, but then they didn't go that route. And for what they did with that route, it's something I haven't really seen before. So I thought it was interesting. I didn't like her as a character as much as I liked just what that storyline was about. Even though I think it added some unnecessary drama to that final section that I guess we'll talk about.
Yeah,
what do you think,
the
Jeff?
only reason I bring her up is because for some reason, she was like the first like kind of female like manager type where I was like, oh, you know what? It would be nice to have like a female manager if you want a sports team. Like some cute girl cheering you on and stuff, trying to do hard shit. That would be encouraging.
She was the first one that made you think that? She did nothing.
She rode a bike and said nice things. I'm a simple man.
It's because Jeff got sucked in like the twins did by Haiji, where he goes, "Look, a cute girl's cheering for you," and Jeff's like, "Yeah,
that's
cute
true."
girl's cheering for him.
Cute girls cheering. I'm going to start running now.
I was hypnotized by Haiji. I still think he's a scumbag, but he says he has wisdom to him.
The only thing I agree with you that he was. I don't think he's a scumbag.
I know
but
that's
I guess
too harsh.
Thinking about it, the only one that I agree with, it's just like, well, Haiji, you're a little too obsessed with this. It's like for him telling like King about, because I understand it's good for King's character, but when King's like, I have a job interview or a job conference for my future, he's like, skip it. You don't need to go to that. And it's like, well,
yeah,
it's like just start looking for a job next year. It's like, well, okay, come on, Haiji. Like he's trying to get a job for his future. Like that, I understood. King's motivation for wanting a job.
Yeah, that's the general vibe he had in those first few episodes when everyone was still reluctant about it. Was basically like, yeah, put aside your whole life and dedicate yourself to my cause. Because it was really a selfish thing of him to do, because he was the only one that really wanted to do it, and he wrangled up these other people just to do what he wanted to do. And
it just coincidentally, when everyone discovered something true about themselves and the person they want to be, he's like, Haiji's like, yeah, that's what I meant to do all this whole time. Good job, I'm a good teacher.
Yeah, and I watched the show with my fiancée Tori, and she, I would think, would be pleased if I mentioned her theory, which is that she thinks that Haiji is just a straight up sociopath. He just like manipulated everyone to doing his bidding. I disagree with that, but there is an argument to be made, I would say. But anyways, we were trying to talk about the animation several minutes ago, and all I could say is it looks pretty. There's some CG, CG, but they did it tastefully.
Yes, tasteful CG.
It was just normal running, which I thought was nice. Like I think if you look at what's a good example, something like Free. Like when they swim, they make it so extravagant. Like they're swimming in the ocean, and there's like all this effects around them and stuff. And they did that a little bit here. Like whenever Kakeru like ran, he like went into the cosmos and like followed the beam or something, or like the line. But more often than not, it was just normal running. Like there was nothing flashy to it, and I respected that.
It had some really good background art. Like when they went to that lake for the training camp, that was some beautiful stuff. Like I would have loved to run through that stuff. Even just look at it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Jake, animation?
I liked it. Like I said, I thought it was great, and they went out of their way to animate small details and form and everything. It's really great. It's hard for me to approach this show any other way than just saying I really loved it.
What about the villains? We had two. There's two antagonists, so to speak. There's one. First of all, I hated. He was like the Sakurai or whatever his name was. He was just so out, and his like motivations for like why he was such a snidey little weasel was just like, hey, look at you guys, losers. Like I felt totally out of place in this anime.
Yeah, totally.
And then the other dude I liked, like the guy who like they're chasing after, the really good dude. He was cool.
Yeah, he didn't feel like an antagonist, I guess. Like he felt like just I guess a rival is an antagonist, but like he felt like just a goal for them to aim towards, and he was legit friendly with Haiji. And it was one of those ones where he wasn't sinister. He was just a talented runner, and I really enjoyed seeing that. But yeah, the other guy was just a dick for being like
real no, like I guess talk about it in spoilers maybe, or just when you find out his motivations for why he's a villain, it's just like, okay, you don't have to be such an evil twerp about it.
I mean, I could kind of see where he's coming from, but at the same time, I wish they would have at least done something with him, because he doesn't even really directly interact with them that much on like the field, like when they're running. There's no like moments of them running up against that redheaded guy, and mostly their interactions are like off the track, where he's just making snide remarks. And also, there is no, as far as I remember, not really much of a resolution to his character and the relationship between him and Kakeru at all. It's just
no, he loses, I think, right, or something. Like I just remember that he screws up his run. Like, I know he does really good in it, but he could have done better.
Just not as good as he wanted to do. Because running is hard.
Well, again, it's a lot of race mentality, and he's a first year in college, and this is a big race, and so it's one of those ones where if you're not mentally ready to run a certain way, you're going to be all eh.
Yeah, and then the other guy was he was when you're like a good runner when you don't have to be a dick about it. And that was what that guy was. He was just so cool and a good runner. He didn't got to show off. You don't got to be like the redhead guy. Be a dick to everyone. And
he had his own little personal story in terms of, I want to do better. I'm always striving to do better for myself. I want to keep growing. So because like winning the race isn't important. I gotta beat my own time type of thing. So I liked him.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I liked about running in general. When I was doing it back then, it was very much an individual sport. I mean, you're in a team, but like it was mostly about beating your own personal record for the most part, which I like that.
Did you like the format of the show? Did you guys like that? Because in terms of, it was leading up to a race that was really one-on-one handoffs, but we never saw moments like that throughout the rest of the show. Like there was no build up to it or no practicing. I was wondering, did you guys feel any sort of way? Like I was thinking, like that was kind of weird, but it allowed for us to see that one-on-one individual inflection, like for the first time at the very end of the show. Should they have brought that in any earlier?
Well, this is the longest distance that they've ran, and so I thought that like this inflection is very similar, is like basically spot on of how like you feel when you're running a long distance, is that your mind kind of just wanders and you start to think about stuff. And so I thought that's why they started having this like internal monologue in the last few episodes compared to them actually running like in the earlier ones, if that's what you were asking.
Yeah, I thought it was fitting because, like I said, like the running is a very introspective thing, and to end the show with each person having their introspective moments and getting a deep dive into like what they're actually thinking about while they're running was a good way to send all these characters off to the climax, which is really cool. So wait, Jake, you said this is the longest that they've run, so they never practiced their actual distance that they had to run, right?
I'm sure they did.
They did in that montage, I think.
Oh, okay.
That we got. Okay. But I mean, like they never raced at a 20-kilometer race.
Yeah.
Except for the qualifier, I think, right? For the qualifier, did they?
I don't even think
was it 20 kilometers?
I don't know.
Wasn't it like 10?
Oh, okay. It might have been 10. It was the one where Prince just barely made it.
Yeah, they're all cheering for him, and those other runners like looking at the clocks, like, why are they cheering about that? It must not be 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers in 16 minutes? That seems crazy.
No, that was to get their official times. The qualifier was when they ran around the airbase and then out where they all ran.
Oh, right.
And Kakeru ran with that one exchange student, and I really liked that. I was really hoping we'd see other like good runner, like more talented runners throughout, which we kind of did. But I was hoping that we'd see more of them, more of those runners.
Yeah, but I guess it's so hard when it's such a
Huge cast.
such a huge cast, and it's a very individual type event at the end. Like there's not enough time to devote to everybody, where it doesn't really make sense for like, because I think that they kind of played it off as like Musa fighting off against that dude. To the other guys, like aces against each other, but then like they never interacted because it wouldn't make really sense for them to.
Yeah, another unique part of the show, and I actually, Coby, why don't you finish your thought? You're talking about the format of the show, right? Did you?
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
I was saying it was just interesting to see like the handoff, the individual running before, and I think at first I was a little hesitant about it, but then I really liked how it was like the first time we saw the runners running individually, and allowed all that introspection that we saw that made the last few episodes just like really impactful.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to say about the show was like in most sports anime, you have like pretty much everyone in the team already experienced with a sport, or maybe you have like one or two people that aren't, and those are usually like the new people. But in this one, it's like a significant portion of the team has never even participated in the sport before, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know, I just have to shout that out real quick, even though we probably already mentioned that before.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Yeah, anyways, anything else we should mention before going to spoilers?
I think everything else is probably pretty spoilery.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into spoilers. Timestamps in the description, all that. Spoiler section in 3, 2, 1. Spoiler section.
Oh my god, everybody dies.
It's super tragic that the mountain explodes into a volcano.
Put it on there. Turned into a terrorist anime. My thing is, just I wanted to ask this question before, but after knowing all the characters, who was the most underdeveloped character?
I think Yuki. Well, shit, maybe not. No, maybe Shindo?
I was gonna go with the twins.
No, Shindo was super.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Well, you say Shindo. I think Shindo was pretty well developed in his role on the team. I agree that Yuki didn't really have much to do.
Well, what do you mean by well developed? Like having like a beginning, middle, and end kind of arc thing, or?
Yeah, like a type of or a story where you kind of at least really understand their character more. Like I walked away not knowing a whole lot more about Yuki. I don't even remember what his story was when he was like running by himself.
That's a good point. Oh wait, no, that was Shindo. Shindo's was about his family, and
which was so sad when like you see his whole family like on to cheer him on, and then like
they're all terrified,
and they're all terrified and watching him all sick. Oh no, Yuki's was remember his
dad or something?
His mom, his stepmom,
stepdad.
It's his mom. His mom got married, remarried,
and they came to the race to cheer him on, which I guess was nice.
His feet were all bloody at the end of that one too. That one got me too.
No, they weren't bloody.
Yeah, they were.
What? It was just bloody. Wet.
No, his like if you look at his shoes, like the area where the fabric are all red.
See, I noticed that detail too, but I thought it was just because he was running on a wet road. He was running downhill, so his shoes just got wet.
Oh no, like it.
No, it's because he was. It sounds better if his feet were bloody because he was so passionate.
I think it's bloody because he's running hardest he's ever been, as well as like the fastest he's ever gone, and so that's where I 100% thought it was blood.
So what? Did he scar himself or something, or just pop some blisters? Like how does that?
I think it's just blood blisters.
Oh. Well, have you?
I think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Coby.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You just talk about feet.
No, I was just gonna ask Jake if he's ever experienced a runner's high before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What's that like?
Yeah.
I don't think I have. It's
nuts. It's great. You feel like you can go forever while you're running. You really don't like your adrenaline's pumping. Any pain that you're feeling is like gone. And it's just really awesome to experience.
Like, what are the conditions?
And then you stop running. And then you go, oh no. Because like that actually happened like after one race I had in high school. It was like the time before I set my PR in the mile, and like I finished, and I just was sitting there. I'm just like breathing, and I'm like smiling. And my coach is like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "I'm feeling great." He goes, "Cool. Look at your foot." I looked at my foot, and I just had this really bright red blotch on like the top of my shoe, and I had like popped a blood blister on my foot.
Oh shit! So it's happened to you before? Blood on the shoe. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, oh, and then I felt my.
So it sounds plausible.
Yeah, and so I felt my foot just sting. I'm like, ah, and all of a sudden that shoe was really heavy, and I'm like, oh no.
That's great. Like what? So have people study like what the conditions have to be for you to experience that kind of thing?
I'm not sure.
As a noob, what is runner's high?
Oh, good one. Good question.
It's kind of like pushing yourself to a limit where like you're basically feel like you're about to like pass out or like stop running, and so then you just
sounds awesome.
Yeah, so then you just push yourself harder than that, and then you kind of just like that kind of just fades away, and you're kind of just like you feel like you're rested, like you're like.
So,
like you didn't.
So your
just
body
run
goes so numb out of pain and misery and wanting to stop that it just goes completely in shock, and you just keep going out of pure adrenaline.
Yeah, you get hit with like an adrenaline rush.
And does that last for a while then? Guessing.
For me, it lasted until I finished that race.
Yeah, but so when did that kick in? Is what I'm saying. Is like, did it kick in halfway through, or last lap or so?
It kicked in. For me at the start of my last lap, because I kicked it, which is increasing my speed at my last 300 meters. And so I just started sprinting, and I just felt like I did not run the previous previous laps.
Damn. Coby, man, if you had legs, you could experience this runner's high as well.
That's true. Maybe one day, and I lose 300 pounds.
You a 300-pound legless person?
Yeah. 6'3".
He's all arms. He does skip leg day, but only because he has to.
God.
Man, what are we talking about?
Runner's high.
Talk about
bloody
runner's
feet?
high. And
yeah, we were talking about
bloody feet because Yuki had bloody feet.
Yeah.
Least developed character. So, yeah, I guess now that I think about it, I guess Yuki.
You say the twins? Interesting.
Like the biggest thing the twins had was at first they hit that like that moment of once you complete a goal, you suddenly become less motivated because you completed the thing that you were aiming for, and I thought that was really cool. But then I felt like any character could have done that. It wasn't like really specific towards the twins because they got over it pretty quickly, and like. Then they kind of had their whole deal was trying to impress girls. Like there was some development for them at the end too with the whole Hana thing, but overall, like I don't think they went through much change. Or
I don't think they set up the twins they set up the twins like twist in terms of I forgot which one it was, but like Joda, which one wanted to keep running? I think at the end,
it was Joji, I believe.
Joji wanted to keep running and Joda didn't, but like when they're running together and like. Joji's like, Joda, like, keep running. Like, you'll do your thing. I'm done. But I can tell Kakeru's now your rival and you want to rival him. Like, that was not set up.
Yeah, I know. Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, like that. If at least a little hint of that was beforehand. I think maybe back when they did quit and stopped running, like one of them, maybe it was, whoever wanted to keep running was just like, do you feel bad that we left? It was probably that twin, but. That whole that plot beat was just like, well, this is a random thing to add right now.
I mean, yeah, you could probably say that about a lot of their individual moments. Okay, so let me toss this one. How about Musa as least developed? Because what was Musa's thing? Like he liked
to take baths in the
dark. He was the smart guy, the kind of the gentle guy, but like his running scene was. So he was supposed to be imagining. Okay, this is what I found funny. Was when Shino's like, when you're running, imagine running in snow because that's where I'm from, snow. He imagines the exact opposite of that. He's in the fucking desert in Africa. And I was like,
because he's imagining where he's from.
Oh, but doesn't that go against what Shindo told him to do?
Shindo said that he imagines where he's from. So I think that's why he imagined where he's from. I just repeated the same sentence, but you know what I mean.
But it makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that would explain that. I thought
proves why they're gay.
I thought Shindo was saying like
He's like,
after-
Musa,
after
you've
that-
never been
Musa
to my
was like, nope.
hometown, but imagine it.
Yeah, like because like you said earlier, Kobe, he was talking about how we're gonna go make snow babies, and he's like, just imagine that when you're running, but
Shindo had to imagine that. I wish, because that's why I wish Musa, I think, was underdeveloped because they played with the fact that he was an exchange student, but like wasn't very good, like as good as an exchange student is expected to be. And I wish they played up that aspect a little bit more with his character of just like trying to live up to the standards of what people think that he's a really great runner, but when he's really just okay. I wish they would have hit that a little harder when they kind of left that on the table.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he had a little bit more going for him, just a little bit though, than the other guys.
What was when he was in the bath and I forgot what the resolution was when he's like, you don't see it because you're out in the front all the time, but what was it that he was talking about
One of the twins liking Hana, or Hana liking one of the twins, I think.
Yeah.
That was just a weird plot line in general with Hana liking the twins. What was the point of that?
Add a bit of romance.
To introduce a Oran High School Host Club storyline.
It was, yeah, I noticed that too. It's just like, well, this twin is, I don't have any problem telling you apart, and they actually want to be apart from each other. But it just felt like it was just like added drama with Joda telling Joji, she's like, I think she likes me, and that throwing off Joji's groove when he's running. That was a weird way to introduce that.
Okay, so I would say I could see the Jota, the one that wanted to keep running, him being the least developed one, because like you guys, did you not like that moment with Joji, the one that did?
Which moment?
Whichever twin didn't want to run, where he was all like, we've been together since we were kids, and now we have to go apart because you want to do something and I don't want to do something. I thought that was really beautiful. I liked it.
I just thought it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, me too. It's like it was a really great moment, but I just wish that one literally came out of nowhere because we had no reference to it whatsoever earlier in the anime. At least I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that kind of baked into their twin relationship though?
I mean, where? Like that's what they don't mention one of them all. That like one of them likes running a little bit more. Like they don't even mention that much.
Oh, okay. I was just seeing it more from the perspective of like their relationship of them always being the same. And then the climax of it being them separating, being reserved just for this one last race, I thought was appropriate.
Who else, I guess? I forgot who else ran. Who else? Nico's was nice, I think. Just because he gave up and he was back to running. Yeah, I really liked King's like a lot, like because again that justified that storyline for me of why King wasn't really in the story a whole lot. Like he was just didn't really interact with a lot of people, and because he mentions it's like I'm socially awkward, that I'm really, and I have this problem of wanting people to recognize me while being too afraid to actually be a part of the group. So for him to not be part of really the main group at the beginning of the anime makes a ton of sense. So I really love that.
Do you guys like it when Haiji broke his foot?
His knee like just snapped.
Oh
yeah,
just like yeah, he was like carrying just a wobbly broken bone leg.
That was
in
a
there.
great visual when he snapped that thing though. Man, so much like I don't even think they used audio of him screaming, but it was just like so much pain.
You just know
boiled into that image. It was great.
Again, me praising the sound design of this show. When he's running and you hear the creaking, like the door creak, like symbolizing like his knee isn't like 100%. I was just like, oh, it's so good. It was such a good way to visualize that.
So basically, he's actually never gonna run again, right? That was literally his last race because of his injury from before.
Yeah, it seemed like he switched over to be a coach after in the prologue or so.
Epilogue. Yeah, because he even kind of limps when he walks onto screen from there.
Yeah, so let's talk about who probably continued running after the race.
Well, we saw, didn't we, in the epilogue?
Yeah,
because we know that that Kakeru and the twins both stayed on the team, which is kind of weird because I wish the twin that didn't want to run actually didn't go on the team.
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well. But wasn't there? Because not all of them were seniors. Like Musa was maybe like a second year or something.
He was, but he would have graduated because they were all fourth years by that point. Oh, so you want to speculate if he stayed on the team or not?
Because so the first years were definitely Kakeru and the twins. So they ran the rest of their years, it seems. I doubt no. Well, Shindo. See, that's the thing. I don't know how old these people are. I know for a fact that Yuki, Nico, and King. Oh, and Haiji. Those are all probably didn't continue because they were graduating that year, I'm pretty sure. So then that leaves Prince, which I don't think Prince would have run again. Do you guys think he would have run again?
I think they did because they kind of have.
Oh.
I don't think I think maybe as soon as they got like more members, he probably stopped being like on the
relay team.
The relay team, but kind of just stayed on the track team to keep living in his dorm, and to two keep connecting with his friends, because he even said like he kind of developed like not a love of running but a not hate of running.
Yeah, that's about he grew from I hate running to I don't have a hate for running, which isn't love, but I think deep down he really does love it. I really do. I think he would have kept at it. I want to believe that Prince stayed on the team.
Well, doesn't he say a line where he hates running, but he hates letting people down more, or something like that? Like he hates something else more than he hates running, so he does running.
I think maybe it's just easy to convince Prince to do anything.
Well, I mean, again, he was going to get kicked out of his house.
Prince, you have to rob this bank and murder somebody in order to stay in this house. Oh, okay.
Guess I gotta rob this bank and murder somebody.
Man, I hate robbing banks and murdering people, but I hate disappointing people more. Okay, what about Shindo?
I think Shindo definitely did. He made the website.
That's true.
He ran a relay where he almost died. I think he definitely stayed around.
What? Oh, I want to say what a freaking cop out that was in that animation style when he's running, and then we see him fall, and then it cuts to black, and then it just cuts to him finishing.
Well, I think the fall was him finishing because he was so disoriented that he had no idea where he was.
I thought he was still in the middle of the road.
Yeah,
well, no, I mean, I think that's what we saw from him. He had no idea again where he was, so that's why we were seeing his first-person view of it. So he was like, he's so like drunk off of his sickness that he thinks he just collapses in the middle of the street, but in reality, he did finish.
It seems like a very lenient way of thinking of just that's a total playing with the audience's emotions.
I mean, I can see it from both perspectives. I, like you, Coby, I thought he'd just pass out in the middle of the street. So it could be like a failure of good editing or something, but from the perspective of like, yeah, he himself doesn't know where the fuck he's running, so we as the audience don't know where the hell he is. I guess that also makes sense. But yeah, what did he have? Like just some kind of flu or something?
I think he got the flu.
He got the flu. I wish he was a little more sick afterwards too, because he got it better like the next day.
He was just faking it. Like, I'm so sick. Look at me, guys.
It just sucks. I've been working on this website that I actually haven't been running, so I want to pretend like I'm sick, but this is me at my full.
He's like, I was just super hungover yesterday, guys. Sorry.
I am a raging alcoholic.
Those little parties were fun. See, that's another college aspect, I guess, that we wouldn't be able to get from a high school anime. Drinking.
Yeah, drinking all the time. They drink a lot. And Shindo was like, I think Shindo was like an angry drunk. Wasn't he like yelling at somebody when? I thought wasn't he yelling at Nico?
He was an emotional drunk. That's for sure. He yells at like everyone. He yells like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fucking join the team, guys." That's how he joined the team, was when he was drunk, basically.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Musa?
How'd you feel?
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. No, go ahead. Musa.
I think it definitely ran.
Oh yeah, Musa definitely ran.
Yeah.
I think he developed a love for it.
So basically, you guys think everyone
they all
continued
ran.
the
Yeah.
team?
Yeah.
All right.
Whether they stayed like either like main competitors or if they just did it for fun, I think Prince did. I think they all continued running.
which I really wish. I really wish that one twin who said I'm done with running would have stayed done with running.
Yeah.
That would have been a nice touch because it kind of just came out like it sounds like he stayed running just because he thinks Hana likes him.
Did they ever conclude that? Like, do they ever know?
They say that the no shenanigan. They don't ever know, and it's really weird. They play it up in the show like the audience is really that invested. Like, who is it that you like? And then they cut away from it really quickly.
Yeah.
And Musa knows because him and Hana are besties.
I wonder if this is like a plot point from the novel that maybe in the novel was handled better. I imagine it's probably you probably have a lot more time to develop each and every character and their relationships and the drama between them in a novel more than doing like a 23 episode anime.
I wonder if Kakeru is the point, is the viewpoint, the point of view in the novel. Like if it's from him.
No.
I also wonder if it's third person or first person. I think that would change a lot because if it's like a first person Kakeru, then that Hana relationship with the twins would have to like affect Kakeru in some way, about like inspire him or be like, I don't know, do something to change his character.
I don't know. You guys should look up the novel cover for this. It's very Japanese, but it looks cool. Looks like a book I might pick up.
You might read it.
I'm probably not gonna read it.
You're gonna be running
I've seen
instead.
the anime.
Yeah, that's something that's so weird that you can say. I don't want to read the book because I watched the anime version.
Well, you can say that about another.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Really? Oh yeah. You
I
told me
have a book. I actually bought the book.
Oh.
Did you read it?
Not yet.
One of these days.
What did you guys think of the ending? I guess just the way it ended with them seating.
Were you inspired? I guess. Did it make you feel something when he finished the race?
When Kakeru was like, I know the meaning of running now. It's you. You are the meaning of running.
It's you.
What does he mean by that? What does he mean?
I think persistence as well as
Manipulating your team to join?
Yeah, that too.
Running with people.
I like having a goal, just constant work. I don't know. It could be a lot. But like that line right there is what solidified that Haiji was the main character to me. Was that he was the driving force for everyone.
There was a small line, I think, that during the final race when Haiji asked someone, Kakeru asked someone. He was like, "Have you ever fallen in love?" I don't know who he asked it to, but they're like, "I don't know." And he's like, "I wonder what does he say?" He says like, "I wonder what it feels like," or something like that.
Kakeru asks Joji, "How does it feel to fall in love?"
There we go.
And Joji goes, "What?" And he goes, "Isn't it amazing?" He's like, "'Cause I'm in love." And then he starts running. And guaranteed, people out there are thinking, "Oh, he's in love with Haiji." But in reality, I think he's in love with running.
Yeah, he's found his love for it. I think that's his whole arc. Because he hated himself and hated running after his incident, after his anger, after his emotional issues.
After his angst.
But through Haiji, he was able to.
I mean,
because he was developed under conditions of running that he hated, and he hated doing it because he was so good. But now he's able to explore his gifts in a safe community and be the best that he can be, and then he find that love.
I mean, you can see the love between Haiji and Kakeru though. Like, first time Haiji saw Kakeru, he like imagined him naked, and then the last scene. Kakeru,
that's true.
No, when he's running and shit, he's like, nice form.
Naked in sake of imagining his form.
Yeah, but he has no
I don't know if
clothes.
he's anatomically correct.
They gotta censor it. They gotta censor it for the audience. But in the end, you see Kakeru seeing Haiji naked. So, it's reciprocal. There's something there.
Not as much as Shindo and Musa. So I'm sure there's a ton of fan art out there about Haiji and Kakeru, but I don't think they're not an item.
I'm not saying they're an item, but I can see why people think they're gay.
Did you feel inspired at the ending, Jeff?
Inspired? I don't know. I don't think so. I think this show was very much a total package thing. Like I liked individual moments of each runner during the relay more than I like that final punctuated scene between Haiji and Kakeru, I guess. But I don't know if I mean I was inspired to run, I guess. Get my ass off the couch and start running.
I guess I really like how I think this would have been super cheesy and super just awful and unjustified if they won the race. And I like how it wasn't about winning the race. It was about finishing the race and overcoming all their personal obstacles. So I think that was a great decision to do. Because I think in another cheesy anime, it would have, or like a sports movie of some sort, they would have won and found a way to do it. But they all had their own personal victories, even though they didn't win the race, which was nice.
I mean, they got seeded too. So
They did.
So that means they don't have to qualify for the next year, right? Is that what that means?
Yeah, they get like grandfathered into the next one.
Yeah.
And I like how that trickles down to the theme of the show. It's kind of like inspiring, like, others and like using your teammates to run. Like their actions inspired new runners to join them in order to, to continue on. So that became the huge plot point at the end. It's like you have 10 runners, most of you are graduating. If you become seeded, what the heck are you going to do next year? But through their actions and perseverance, they were able to, inspire other people, which I thought they introduced really well with elements of like how much their fan club was like encouraging them, as well as like those kids who came up to Nico, which played it in comic effect, just like, you're the coach, right? Can we run with you? I mean, that's a funny moment, but it also is a nice planted seed of more people joining them, the following year.
Yeah, and those two kids from earlier could finally join them, even though they wanted to join before that.
That 100% makes sense why he like closed off the team and was like, we're not going to accept anybody because we don't need distractions and we don't need people joining because it's a fad.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah. Plus, if they had extra members, not like I feel like everyone would feel less motivated to try their best.
Mm-hmm.
It ruins the allure of having a backup because it's nice when you only have 10 people, exactly. and that one Dick Satura, whatever his name was, is like, if one of you catches a cold, and you're like, God damn it, someone's going to catch a cold.
I have thought there'd be a scene of him just coughing at them because he's an asshole and evil for sake of being evil.
He's the type of guy who would just he'd pull a what's that Hanabado,
tie a person up and get him sick in the closet
and get him sick specifically,
and laughing about
That's
it too.
Totally something he would do.
What a funny prank! What a funny prank!
Funny prank! I got you sick because I hate you. And Kakeru would be like, "Who are you? Like, do I know you?"
Yeah. No, this show's better than that show. That's for sure.
I mean, I agree, but I also like that show. I mean, like, this is a show for me is like a 10, and Hanbado is like an 8.
Jeez. I don't know about Hanbado. We don't got to talk about Hanbado, but I just got to say, I don't think it's an 8.
So I guess we could. Is there anything else for spoilers that we want to talk about? Any other cool moments that stood out for you guys that like you really liked?
Episode 20, Till I Break, is the personification of like a competitive runner's mindset while running.
Who did that?
It focused on Shindo, and it focused on Shindo, and we got the backstory of Haji in high school, where you're running. You're not only running for you, but you're running for your team. You're running for points, so you don't want to let your team down, and so you just put yourself in these like situations where you're going to hurt yourself. But like to you, it's not that big of a deal. But in reality, your team is so worried about you, and it's great. Like that episode, I was tearing up, and again thinking to myself, like I really need to start running again.
Yeah, to me, Shindo's run and Haiji's backstory, I think that definitely hit me the hardest too.
Do you guys remember the episode called "The Prank"?
No.
It's like the summer prank or something, right?
Yeah, what was the prank?
I thought the prank seemed to be that, because like if at first, yeah, the episode's called like the summer prank, and it's when Shindo and I think Musa, they disappear into the woods at night because they got lost. And then they come running out of the forest and they scare everybody. But I thought that was a prank at first, but it turns out it wasn't because they just see the other team there.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. that they're gonna say there's a monster in the woods. But no, they're just like, nah, man, we just got lost.
Yeah.
Wow, sick prank, bro.
But the other
sick
team's
prank.
here. Sick prank. Solid Japanese prank.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the prank was. Good point. I did like when they were driving up to the mountains when Haiji, or not even in the mountains, when they were just driving through the event and Haiji became a better driver. He's like, you became a better driver. He's like, yeah, I've been asking you to get better. So, I mean, it's unfair for me not to get better at things you've been criticizing me for. I thought that was a nice little moment.
Yeah. There should be a. Well, I was gonna say there should be a driving anime, but there is. That should probably be one of our next reviews or something.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Any other small moments that you really liked?
I just have to highlight that my favorite part of the show is still when Prince was learning how to run, and because I think that was when, Kakeru just started getting out of his shell and starting to actually believe in the team and being like, oh shit, like I like that moment where, what is it when he's like, he just approaches Prince. He's like, you got any manga to recommend? And then he's just watching him reading manga while he's running, and he's like, oh, that's it. That's how you're gonna run. It was so obvious.
It was a great way to have two characters grow like simultaneously, but different ways. Like it helps Kakeru grow into the team player and help Prince become a better runner. Like I think this show a lot of the time focused on individual characters growing and going through their own things, like one at a time. But that was a great instance of both of two different characters with different mindsets growing from the same experience. So I thought that you're right. I think that was the highlight for me. That's when I really started loving the show.
Mm-hmm. And when did you start liking the show, Jake?
Pretty much at the start of the first meet. Like I was enjoying it, but like right when the first meet happened, I got like really invested.
What was it about that?
I think it was just watching like them race, because it was cool to see I mean, running isn't necessarily an exciting sport to watch unless you're watching certain parts of it. And so running practice isn't necessarily exciting to watch. And so I liked the characters, and I thought the running, the practices were well done. But then as soon as the race happened and you see them implement these things that they're learning, and you see them get exposed to this new element in the show, I just was like, wow, this show is actually really good.
Yeah. It's also good when they started cheering for each other. Like that, because that first race.
Oh yeah, that was a great moment.
The first time everyone was racing, and the second time Haiji's like, what did he say? It was like, running is more about racing or something like that. And then you realize he was talking about oh yeah, you got to be there to support your team too. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, when they all just when Kakeru was looking around, seeing how much his teammates were, and who were they cheering on? I forgot who they were.
Who was racing?
Yeah,
I know who was cheering.
Was it Musa? It might have been Musa. Yeah, it was. I don't know. Haiji, Nico, Prince,
King?
Kakeru, and King.
Yeah.
So that means everyone else was running.
Yeah. So I think it must have been maybe the twins.
I think it was twins and Musa that they were cheering for, because they also brought up that Musa has good eyes at that part, because he could see who was actually cheering.
He could see things.
Yeah. He has eagle.
That nobody else can.
Eagle vision.
He has the eagle eye. Hawk
vision.
Stupid.
Well, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, we guess we can move out of spoilers and go into ratings.
Yeah. Okay. Let's exit spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're back from the spoiler section. So let's talk about MVPs. Coby, who's your MVP?
My MVP of the show, I still got to go with Shindo, because I liked his role of the team itself. I liked his story, and then I liked his final kind of little arc at the end. I liked his individual run at the end the most. So I think without Shindo, the team would have fallen apart by far. Of course, besides Haiji. So that's why Shindo is my MVP.
All right. Jake, who's your MVP?
Weirdly enough, it's going to be Prince.
All right.
I think Prince is a good character that people can latch onto early on, because he's not he's the otaku shut-in who doesn't really know much about the sport, and we learn more about it through like his eyes, and we see him develop the most when it comes to just running in general. And he's overall just a really funny character, as well as there's some really good drama with him early on.
I'm gonna have to go with Prince as well for all the reasons you stated, and also because, as I've said before, he's the reason why I think I got really interested in the show, specifically him and Kakeru together. As for the ratings, we're kind of loosey goosey here at the ratings. I kind of gave it a recommended or not recommended. There was a time when I rated it from 1 to 5. Now I'm gonna rate it 1 to 10 to be a little bit wild.
Because there's 10 people.
I'm gonna give this one. An 8 out of 10. It is a very solid anime, very good anime, and I recommend it to anyone who I guess wants a more introspective sports anime, as opposed to like an explosive one, more of like a thoughtful one, and as well as for those who likes shows with really big casts and are able to develop each character in interesting ways. So yeah, I really like this show.
I will also, I think, give it an 8 out of 10, just because I love this show. I thought the characters were super well developed, and I love a show that takes time to develop each character and have their own individual stories. The reason I think for it to be a 9 for me, it's got to have a bit of rewatchability, and that's the only thing that's the show's detriment, is that it's so good to me, and I feel like the story is so complete. I don't feel like going back and rewatching it, just because I feel like so, just satisfied with the story that I saw. And 10 would just have to be, perfect. So it's really close, maybe like an 8.5, because it's good story, good animation, good characters, and I really enjoyed this, and it just made me feel good watching this. It was a fun ride. So 8.5 out of 10.
For me, I'm gonna go differently than you guys. I'm gonna give it a 10.
Perfect anime.
For me, it is the best sports anime I've watched. It is. I have a bias. Like, I love running, and I loved watching this whole stuff. Like, everything about it. I thought the characters were great, and like, I really it. Got actual emotion from me, to the point of, like I said, I was fighting back tears, not only for like just one moment, but for several episodes. I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah, I think 10 animes for me they gotta like, I guess, just resonate a bit more in terms of like 9 is rewatchable, but 10 is just
something special,
something that I can relate to, something really special to me. So it's, of course, you're a runner, and that's going to connect a little different. Well, I guess Jeff's a runner too, but I guess not as much as Jake. But that's obviously going to boost it a little bit on top of it's already just really fantastic story, just well done story, good pacing, good everything. So cool.
Yeah, it was a very solid show, and thank you, Jake, for joining us again on Anime Ricochet. Jake, what do you do over Anime Dumpster Dive?
Oh, at Anime Dumpster Dive, we take an anime that's been deemed bad by like the anime watching community, mostly my anime list, and we watch it, and we have a in-depth discussion about it to figure out if it's really earned this hate that it got, or if it was just kind of like a victim of like a hate train or an echo chamber. We recently watched Doriku the Animation, and spoiler alert, if the show is called something the Animation, it's probably not good.
Wow. I recently watched King's Game the Animation, which is bad, and now I'm listening to your guys' podcast, and you guys are very funny over there, so please check them out. We'll have their links in the description. And lastly, Coby, would you like to sign us off?
Sure. Thank you all so much for listening to us. You made it to the end. You ran to the end and sprinted to the end and crossed the finish line. Good for you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Here at Nerd Blades, we do a lot of anime reviews, episode reviews, some random videos here and there. A lot of cool stuff. So be sure to hit that subscribe button to find more awesome content, and also leave a comment. We like interacting with you guys. So thank you all very much. Thank you very much, Jake, and we'll see you next time with our next sports anime, which is Undecided.
Thanks, guys. See ya.